Everybody in New York today is talking about this. The billionaire hedge fund manager Steve Cohen is in talks to buy up to 80% of the New York Mets. This news comes on the heels of the sale of the Carolina Panthers to Appaloosa Management's David Tepper in 2018. And just last week, Silver Lake Capital purchasing a 10% stake in the parent company of the British soccer team, Manchester City. So are hedge fund managers, private equity guys, VCs, are they getting into sports for the glory, or do they see a big return? Joining me now, Greg Zuckerman, who covers hedge funds and private equity for the Wall Street Journal, and my friend Wally Walker, principal at Hana Road Capital, former GM and vice president or president of the Seattle Supersonics. So many titles, I can't even keep them. Two-time NBA champion. But before we begin, Wally, we have to lick our wounds over last night's, Purdue kicked our carne asadas, the University of Virginia, last night.
They did, and I suffered along with you and some others, I'm sure, but I had to remind myself that we've been spoiled.
We have been spoiled indeed. So Wally, you're well aware of lots of the folks who have invested in either NBA teams or NFL teams, and now Mr. Cohen wanting to up his stake in the Mets. And you have worked yourself with Chris Hansen, another financier, on trying to bring a team back to an NBA team back to Seattle. Why do these money managers want to get into the sports business? Is it a vanity play or is it a capital return play?
I think there's some of each, and I start with simply because they can. They're at a point, and I hear consistently, I've heard it firsthand, I've done well, better than I ever thought I would, and I've loved sports, and I never thought I'd be in this position, yet here I am. But as a pure investment, there is huge content franchise value in sports. It's business is protected. It's not a monopoly, as that's got a bad connotation, but it may be something akin to a cartel. That the teams and leagues don't set prices, but they may compete against each other, may not even like each other. They share business interests, and that's a pretty good economic model.
And I can't remember, Wally, the last time a sports franchise in the United States sold for less money than it was bought for. Whether it's Mark Lasry or whether it's Steve Ballmer, who paid a rich price for the L.A. Clippers, as you know, or Tillman down in Houston. Now, they haven't sold yet, but I can't remember a time when a sports franchise went at a loss, sold at a loss.
Well, franchise values, as most people know and you know, jumped up a lot in the last 6 or 7 years. Everyone thought Steve Ballmer was crazy, and he's a friend when he paid $2 billion just 5 years ago, and then the last two transactions in the NBA have been north of $2 billion, and I think that's the trend.
So, Greg, what is it about these hedge fund guys like Steve Cohen? Let's delve into that. Met fans are delighted. They're not delighted, however, I think, at the idea that the owning or controlling family, the Wilpons, are going to stay on for another 5 years in executive roles there. What's Steve Cohen's play here, and why, as I asked Wally, do hedge fund guys want to get into the game?
So part of it is vanity, as you suggest. Part of it is there has been a return. It's not clear that's going to continue apace. But part of it is it's just so much more fun than managing money today. I mean, you have to remember that guys like Cohen and everybody else are having a much harder time beating the market. There are pressures on fees. We talk about it every day. And, Cohen's in his 60s. He has to deal with investors, underperformance. It's not that much fun. How much more fun is it to own a team? So they've built the wealth. It's more fun than buying a painting and looking at it once in a while. You get to own a sports team. Come on.
I guess it depends on the team, though, Greg, right? I mean, if you own the Knicks, I would not call that fun right now.
Oh, let's hope there's a Steve Cohen coming in to buy the Knicks. I think some of us would chip in if someone needs a help buying out the Dolans. But, turnaround situations are what these guys love to do. They've profited their whole lives. And the Mets aren't a bad team.
No.
Yeah, so it's not a bad situation to step in, and there are all kinds of ways to monetize a little bit better. He's very creative. He's getting into more analytics in his firm in recent years. I bet he could do that as well for the Mets.
So quick answer, Wally, which is more fun, managing money or managing a basketball franchise?
It depends if you're winning or losing.
Yeah.
And you're under a lot of scrutiny on both, but certainly the sports franchise is much more public, and you go out, you're going to hear about it if you aren't doing well. You might hear about it if you are doing well, but you're going to hear about it.